conversation. You have nothing better to do than mine. I just sit and, I see what you're saying. I just sit and draw out. I'll reference. That's the number one thing I will say to anyone. If, like, seriously, if you're doing something, reference photos. My computer, my reference folder for everything I've done in the past year is probably like 3 gigabytes. Any screenshot or any of the official artwork, anything that you can get that shows you something on the costume or on the prop, just save it, right click it, because Harkonnen, the lettering, I sat and watched the anime like 15 times when Walter gives it to Saris. You can't. I don't care how high def your TV is, you cannot see what's on that gun. But by finding a scan that someone did of the manga, because I'm not at that time manga, I just really started. I was watching the OVAs first because I like to really get better. So I did find someone had a manga scan of Walter handing it to her, and lo and behold, there's a perfect shot of it, clear as a bell. It should say Helsing Arms Incorporated, Industrial Incorporation or something like that, but I had a little brain fart and got like a 3 instead. So I will be eventually redoing it. I just have to I need to get another can of black spray paint. You'd be amazed how many cans of tester spray paint you go through. I think I probably used about 5 on this, plus an entire can of sealant. And again, the other thing to keep in mind too, because the styrene is like the same exact that models, all of like the little Gundam models and things like that, to use the tester spray paint on. That's all you can use that on this too, which is really good too, because if you get it in like the little pots, you can do a lot of custom mixing with those too. So if you can't find it, it's just you gotta brush it. But and also too, love the fact that it's dry within like 2 minutes. You spray it on, let it sit, and it's dry. So you can do multiple coats, and you can do a lot of custom coloring with it, which is really good. And again, the same with like I said, drawing. I seriously sat on brown craft paper and drew it out, cut it out, traced it onto double-sided interfacing, cut that out, and just ironed it on. And it's the same thing with all the details, all the gold on peaches. Like I said, sat at work because I've got nothing better to do, and just drew it out. And again, with my reference photos, this time going to one of my awesome friends who has Smash. Yes, that's right, Princess Peach, and I've never touched the game. I just saw the fact that she finally had details in her outfit and decided that I had to do it. Suiseki is now next on my list. Resin, Sculpey, like I said, really good thing to use. If you're doing something really large, who's a Dick Rayman fan? How's that little gold thing?
Tin
There you go. If you're going to do something like that, what I might suggest is, if you're doing something big that you want to do out of Sculpey, what I would suggest doing is tin foil. Just take a bunch of tin foil, crumple it up into a ball, and then put the clay on the outside of that, because if you were to actually make a Sculpey ball like that, it would take like 4 hours to bake, and the chances are really high that you would.
What if you just do a styrofoam ball, like a foam ball?
You could do that. The only thing is, I'm sure as anyone here that's worked with styrofoam like that, it is very fragile. And unless you coat it in some way, the second, some fangirls comes running, like, oh my god! It got a white shirt. But if you were going to go that route, then I would suggest gesso. You can get it all over the craft stores in the painting section. It's like a mixture of like paint and plaster. So when it dries, it's fairly sturdy.
How many coats did you put on that?
It's got about 5 or 6 coats, only because it was like 3 days before Mokucon, and I was like, I need to get this done now.
Is it you?
High density.
No, this is actually the normal styrofoam.
Yeah.
This is just like the normal white stuff you get at AC Moore's. Just because, yet again, it was like, I need to get it done, and I've got it on hand. Because I've used all of my insulation foam on other things. But the other good thing to keep in mind about that too, the insulation foam, it's not as sculptable as the white green stuff is that you get like in the floral department, like silk flower arrangements. Because all I did was I cut out the heart to the basic shape that I need, took a scrap of the foam from cutting it out, and just rubbed the edges. And just by rubbing it, I got, smoother edges. Whereas with the insulation foam, it totally wouldn't work. You would actually have to sit there with an X-Acto knife, or you go to the clay department. They have like those big, long, straight blade. It's like a, it looks like the straight edge razor blade, but it's like yay big for cutting clay. I'm sure they keep those now. I have like 5 of them because they went on clearance because they got like a new brand. And I was like, $1.99, I'll take it. So I got like 5 of them, and I've like broken 3 so far. Because the blades do have a bit of a flex to it. So when you're doing curved bits, you can take and bend it a little bit, and then drag it to the foam, doing so very, very carefully, because as I said before, insulation foam is a little unforgiving. Whereas unless like you're really, really following like some sort of pattern to it, it'll just sort of go wherever it wants to, and you'll end up with really bad waves. This is actually the second stock, because the first one I really, really messed up on. But again, it's just insulation foam. They have different thicknesses to it, so depending upon what it is you're doing. Oh, and depending on what it is that you're doing. Also, too, keeping in mind, like I said, low temp glue gun, you can build up the layers, because I prefer to work with like the 1/2 inch, because that's what I had on hand for tomahawk. Because like I said, it's all just leftovers. 1/2 inch, and you just use low temp glue, low temp hot glue, and just glue them together. And like I said, it works really well at keeping the stuff together, because it is fairly. Yeah, just pull the barrel. There you go. It, you can kind of see. I happen to have the blue stuff. It comes in pink or blue. It's the same exact stuff, but it's really lightweight, and it's fairly sturdy. Yeah. Go ahead. See what I'm saying? It's just, like I said, it's polystyrene.
How durable is it?
It's very sturdy.
Is it pretty durable too? Is it pretty durable too?
Yeah. I mean, there's a couple spots on here where it's mostly like edges where I just didn't glue it down good enough that it sort of popped off a little. But as long as you get the hot glue straight to the edge, because you can always trim off, ooze out off of it, it's very sturdy. And I mean, you really, really have to like rub it out of it to get anything to come off of it. But other thing to keep in mind too, once you do paint or something, seal it. I just used a matte sealant on this because, as you'll notice, I don't have that much black on my hand. When my sister first brought this with us to Anime Next this past summer, her gloves were black by the time she was done with it. It still looked black, but it just, she had a lot of rub off, so sealant is your best friend. Yes.
When you're sanding or like rubbing away the foam, should you wear a mask or anything?
I don't, only because I smoke and I figure there's a lot worse things and I'm probably inhaling with those. But yes, no, if you are doing something like, if you are doing sanding, whether it be foam or wood, I would suggest, but I usually don't. But no, that also too, if you're doing a lot of spray painting or a lot of sealant work, I would totally suggest masks, whether you get like, just one of those medical ones or, like hardware stores you can get, they have like the painter's masks.
The 3M ones.
Totally suggest it because it's, I catch like a girl. it just,